All right, welcome in everyone to another deep dive.
Glad to be here.
Today we're taking a look at self-perception and how it can really shape our happiness.
Sounds interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So we're diving into this article from Rich Woman magazine called Feeling Good and Happy. Your self-perception reshapes a happier 2025.
Okay.
It's by Dr. Marina Nani.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of starts things off with a pretty intense story.
Whoa.
Yeah, about how she basically collapsed from exhaustion. Like she was working so hard and achieving all these things, but totally neglecting her own well-being.
Oh, that's a powerful image.
It is. It really highlights, what can happen when we kind of lose sight of ourselves in the pursuit of, external achievements.
I could see that, yeah.
It's a good reminder for all of us, I think.
Absolutely.
So what's really fascinating is how she uses this experience to really kind of dig into this whole concept of self-perception.
I'm curious to hear more about that.
Yeah, so she talks about having this like aha moment where she realized she could actually rewrite her negative self-stories.
Interesting. So it's about changing the narrative we tell ourselves.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But, she's very clear that there wasn't like a quick fix or anything. It was a gradual process of, really kind of shifting her mindset.
Makes sense. It's not like you can just flip a switch and suddenly everything's different.
Right.
Yeah.
So she started focusing on nurturing these parts of herself that she had kind of ignored for a long time, like creativity and humor and connecting with others.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's about kind of rediscovering those things that bring us joy and fulfillment.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's interesting because it kind of reminds me of this whole idea of self-actualization that, we hear about in psychology.
Like Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Exactly. Yeah. Where, true fulfillment comes from like aligning with our authentic selves and really nurturing our potential.
Right.
And it sounds like Dr. Nani's journey is a great example of that.
It definitely seems that way.
Yeah. And what's great is that she doesn't just rely on, personal anecdotes and stories. She actually brings in some pretty compelling research to back up her points.
Oh, like what?
So she mentions this 2023 study that found that people who really focus on their strengths and positive qualities, they tend to be happier and more resilient overall.
That's fascinating.
It is. It's like kind of counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
You'd think that focusing on problems would make you better at solving them.
I guess so, yeah.
But actually focusing on the good stuff helps us deal with the challenges better.
Interesting. So it's about building ourselves up rather than tearing ourselves down.
Exactly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she refers to this as like a self-perception shift. It's like actively challenging that negative self-talk and replacing it with something more accurate and supportive.
That makes sense. It's like changing the lens through which we view ourselves in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not just about, putting on a fake smile and saying, oh, I'm amazing all the time.
No, not at all. It's more about being honest with ourselves, acknowledging our strengths, and really choosing to focus on the positive.
Right. It's a more conscious and deliberate approach.
Yeah. It's about recognizing that we have the power to shape our own perception of ourselves and the world around us.
That's powerful stuff, but I imagine it can also be a bit daunting for some people. Like, where do you even begin?
I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Nani offers some pretty practical advice in the article.
Oh, good.
She suggests starting by just paying attention to how you talk to yourself, like, would you say the things you say to yourself to a friend? And if not, then why are you saying them to yourself?
That's a really good point.
Yeah, it's a simple but powerful exercise in self-awareness.
It's like holding up a mirror to our thoughts and seeing if they're actually aligned with how we want to feel.
Exactly.
I'm already starting to see how this self-perception shift can make a real difference.
Absolutely. And another suggestion Dr. Nani offers is to intentionally focus on your positive qualities.
Okay.
Even just listing 3 things you genuinely like about yourself can be a good starting point.
That's a great tip. It's so easy to get caught up in what we don't like about ourselves.
Right.
But consciously focusing on our strengths can really change our perspective.
Yeah, it's like reframing the narrative from I'm not good enough to I have a lot to offer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it seems like Dr. Nani's approach to self-perception is really rooted in both personal experience and solid psychological principles.
It definitely is. She blends personal anecdote with evidence-based strategies, which makes her message both relatable and credible.
Right. And it's really inspiring to see how she's used her own journey to help others.
Absolutely.
I'm already feeling motivated to start implementing some of these ideas.
Me too.
What other practical tips does Dr. Nani offer in the article?
Well, she talks about the importance of reconnecting with joy, like Making time for activities you genuinely enjoy, even if they seem kind of frivolous or unproductive.
Oh, I can definitely relate to that. Sometimes we get so caught up in our to-do lists that we forget to prioritize the things that actually bring us joy.
Exactly. And Dr. Nani argues that engaging in activities that nourish our souls is not selfish, it's essential for our well-being.
Right. It's about taking care of ourselves holistically.
Yeah, and this ties into another key element that she highlights, self-compassion.
Okay, tell me more about self-compassion.
Sure, it's about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a friend. We're often our own harshest critics.
Right.
But learning to forgive ourselves for mistakes and setbacks is crucial for building a healthy self-perception.
This resonates with the idea of self-acceptance, right?
Yes.
Acknowledging our flaws and imperfections as part of who we are without judgment.
Precisely. Self-compassion isn't about ignoring areas where we can grow. It's about approaching ourselves with kindness and understanding even when we fall short of our own expectations.
It's about being on our own team, so to speak. This all makes so much sense. It seems like Dr. Nani's approach to self-perception is really about creating a more supportive and nurturing internal environment.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Recognizing our inherent worthiness and choosing to focus on the positive, even when things get tough.
Yeah, and that positive internal environment can then spill over into our external experiences, influencing how we approach challenges, interact with others, and ultimately how we experience the world.
It's incredible how much power we have over our own happiness simply by shifting our perspective.
It really is.
Dr. Nani suggests making 2025 a year of receiving and reimagining. What exactly does she mean by that?
It's about being open to new possibilities, about challenging those limiting beliefs that hold us back, and about embracing a more expansive view of ourselves.
So shedding those layers of self-doubt and stepping into our full potential.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we are worthy of receiving all the good things life has to offer.
But what does that actually look like in practice?
Well, Dr. Nani highlights the importance of seeing ourselves clearly, not through the lens of past mistakes or societal pressures.
Right.
It's about recognizing our strengths, our values, and our potential.
So it's about choosing how we see ourselves rather than letting our past or other people define us.
Precisely. And that choice, she argues, is ultimately what leads to true happiness.
Because happiness isn't something external we chase, it's something we cultivate within ourselves.
Exactly. It's an inner journey of self-discovery and compassion.
Sounds like we've just scratched the surface of Dr. Nani's insights.
There's so much to unpack here.
There is. This deep dive is already proving to be incredibly insightful.
I agree, and we've only just begun to explore the depths of Dr. Nani's wisdom.
Let's take a closer look at some of these specific strategies for cultivating a healthier self-perception.
That sounds like a great place to pick up in part 2.
All right, so we've talked about this self-perception shift,
Yeah.
how it can impact our happiness, being kinder to ourselves, focusing on strengths, basically like choosing a more empowering inner dialogue.
Yeah.
But how do we actually make this shift happen? It kind of feels a little abstract.
I can understand that, but luckily Dr. Nani offers some really concrete steps we can take.
Okay, good.
One of the most powerful ones is challenging negative self-talk.
Yeah, this is something we touched on earlier, but how exactly do we challenge these thoughts? It can feel so automatic and just ingrained.
It starts with awareness, just noticing when those negative thoughts pop up.
Okay.
Don't judge yourself for having them, simply observe them.
Right.
Then you can start to question their validity, like, is this thought really true? Is it helpful? What evidence do I have to support it?
It's like we're putting those negative thoughts on trial, cross-examining them to see if they actually hold up.
Exactly. And often you'll find that these negative thoughts are based on outdated beliefs or distorted perceptions. Once you've identified the thought, you can start to reframe it. Instead of saying, I'm not good at this, you could try saying, I'm still learning and I'm committed to improving.
Okay, that's a great example. It's like shifting from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset.
You got it. It's about believing that we can learn and grow rather than seeing our abilities as set in stone. And this ties in with Dr. Nani's emphasis on focusing on our strengths.
Right. She suggests actually listing 3 things we genuinely like about ourselves.
Yeah.
It sounds almost too simple, but I can see how it could be powerful.
It's a way of consciously directing our attention to the positive.
Okay.
When we focus on our strengths, we build our self-efficacy, which is basically our belief in our ability to succeed.
Right.
And this, in turn, makes us more likely to take on challenges and achieve our goals.
So it's like a positive feedback loop. Focusing on strengths boosts our confidence, which leads to more success, which further reinforces our belief in ourselves.
Exactly. And this increased confidence can have a ripple effect across all areas of our lives, from our relationships to our careers.
That's pretty amazing. It seems like such a small shift in perspective can have a huge impact on our overall well-being.
It definitely can. Remember, our self-perception shapes our reality.
Right.
If we believe we're capable and worthy, we're more likely to create experiences that reflect that belief.
This reminds me of the concept of self-fulfilling prophecies, like what we believe about ourselves often becomes our reality.
That's a great connection, and Dr. Nani touches on this idea when she talks about 2025 being a year of receiving.
Right, but what exactly does it mean to, receive?
It's about being open to opportunities, to love, to abundance, to all the good things that life has to offer.
Right.
But it also requires a shift in mindset.
Okay.
If we believe we're not worthy or deserving, we'll unconsciously block those good things from coming into our lives.
It's like we're putting up an invisible barrier that prevents us from experiencing the fullness of life.
Precisely. And dismantling that barrier starts with cultivating a sense of self-worth. It's about recognizing that we are inherently valuable regardless of our achievements or external validation.
Right. This ties in with the idea of self-compassion we talked about earlier.
Absolutely. Self-compassion is a key ingredient in building a healthy self-perception.
Okay.
It allows us to be kind and understanding with ourselves even when we make mistakes, and this, in turn, opens us up to receiving all the good things life has to offer.
So it seems like self-compassion is not just about feeling good. It's actually a powerful tool for personal growth and transformation.
It definitely is. It allows us to approach challenges with a more balanced and resilient mindset. Instead of beating ourselves up when things go wrong, we can offer ourselves the same kindness and support we would offer a friend.
It's about shifting from being our own worst critic to becoming our own best advocate.
That's a great way to put it, and the shift in perspective can be truly liberating.
Yeah.
It allows us to embrace our imperfections, learn from our mistakes, and keep moving forward on our journey of self-discovery.
It sounds like we're talking about a fundamental shift in how we relate to ourselves.
We are, and this shift can have a profound impact on our happiness and overall well-being.
Yeah. Dr. Nani emphasizes that this is a process, not a destination.
Absolutely. Cultivating a healthy self-perception is a lifelong journey.
Right.
There will be ups and downs, moments of self-doubt, and times when we fall back into old patterns.
Yeah.
But the key is to keep practicing, to keep choosing those empowering thoughts and behaviors,
Right.
and to keep moving forward with self-compassion.
It's about embracing the journey and trusting that we're constantly evolving and becoming the best versions of ourselves.
You've got it. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. Dr. Nani actually provides a tool to help with this process, her success journal.
Oh, right. We mentioned that earlier, but what exactly is the Success Journal? How can it help us with this self-perception shift?
It's designed to help you track your progress, identify patterns in your thinking, and cultivate a more positive self-image.
Okay.
It encourages you to reflect on your strengths, celebrate your accomplishments, and practice gratitude.
It sounds like a powerful tool for cultivating self-awareness
Mm-hmm.
and intentionally shaping our self-perception.
It definitely is. It's about taking those abstract concepts we've been discussing and putting them into practice in a concrete and tangible way.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
Yeah.
Challenging negative thoughts, focusing on strengths, practicing self-compassion, using tools like the Success Journal.
Mm-hmm.
It's all part of a holistic approach to creating a healthier and happier self.
You summarize it beautifully. It's about taking ownership of our thoughts, our feelings, and ultimately our self-perception.
Yeah, it's empowering to realize that we have more control over our happiness than we often realize.
It is. And the beauty of it is that it's a choice we can make every single day.
This deep dive is already proving to be incredibly insightful. I'm curious to see what other gems of wisdom Dr. Nani has to offer.
Me too. There's still so much to explore in her concept of reimagining ourselves for a happier 2025.
Let's delve into that in part 3. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
From, challenging that negative self-talk to practicing self-compassion, even exploring that idea of a success journal.
Right.
It's clear that Dr. Nani offers like a multifaceted approach to cultivating a healthier self-perception.
She definitely does. And while all these strategies are valuable,
Yeah.
I'm particularly intrigued by her concept of reimagining ourselves for a happier 2025.
Right, it's such a powerful idea.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of curious to explore what it means like on a practical level.
Yeah, me too.
We've touched on it briefly, but I think it deserves a deeper dive.
Absolutely.
What does it actually mean to reimagine ourselves?
Well, I think it starts with questioning the stories we've been telling ourselves. You know, the limiting beliefs, the self-doubt, those fears that hold us back from living our full potential.
Right.
It's about recognizing that those stories are not fixed.
Right.
They're fluid, and we have the power to rewrite them.
So it's like we're the authors of our own lives.
Exactly.
We can choose what kind of story we want.
Exactly, and that choice is incredibly empowering.
Mm-hmm.
It means we're not bound by our past experiences or the expectations of others.
Right.
We can create a new narrative,
Okay.
one that reflects our true selves and our aspirations.
This reminds me of something you mentioned earlier about self-fulfilling prophecies.
Yeah.
If we believe we're not worthy or capable,
Mm-hmm.
we'll unconsciously create experiences that reflect that belief.
Right.
But if we choose to believe in ourselves, to see ourselves as capable and deserving, we open up a whole new realm of possibility.
That's a great connection, and it highlights the transformative power of reimagining ourselves.
Right.
It's about shifting our internal landscape, which in turn influences our external reality. Yeah.
It's about creating a self-perception that supports our growth, our happiness, and our fulfillment.
It's like we're shedding those old constricting clothes and stepping into a brand new outfit that fits us perfectly, one that allows us to move freely and confidently in the world.
That's a wonderful analogy, and it emphasizes the importance of aligning our self-perception with our authentic selves.
Okay.
It's about letting go of those limiting beliefs that no longer serve us and embracing a vision of ourselves that feels true and inspiring.
But how do we actually do that? How do we identify those limiting beliefs and start to rewrite them?
It requires a willingness to look inward, to get curious about our thoughts and patterns,
Okay.
to ask ourselves, what stories have I been telling myself? Where did those stories come from? And most importantly, do they still serve me?
It's about becoming more self-aware,
Yeah.
about paying attention to our inner dialogue and recognizing those negative thought loops that hold us back.
Exactly. And once we've identified those limiting beliefs, we can start to challenge them.
To question their validity and replace them with more empowering thoughts.
It's like we're weeding out those old, overgrown plants in our mental garden and planting new seeds that will blossom into something beautiful and vibrant.
I love that image, and it highlights the importance of nurturing our self-perception.
Right.
It's an ongoing process, just like tending a garden. We need to be mindful of the thoughts we feed, the stories we tell ourselves, and the environment we create within.
And just like a garden, our self-perception can flourish when it's given the right conditions.
Yeah.
Sunlight, water, and a whole lot of love and care.
Beautifully said. And that brings us back to Dr. Nani's emphasis on self-compassion. It's the foundation upon which a healthy self-perception can grow.
Okay.
It's the fertile soil that allows those new empowering beliefs to take root.
It's about being gentle with ourselves, recognizing that we're all works in progress,
Yeah.
and embracing the journey of self-discovery with kindness and understanding.
And that journey of self-discovery is key to reimagining ourselves.
Yeah.
It's about exploring our passions, our values, our dreams. It's about asking ourselves, what truly lights me up? What makes me feel alive?
And then having the courage to pursue those things, even if they scare us a little.
Exactly. It's about stepping outside our comfort zones and embracing the unknown.
Right.
Because that's where the growth happens.
Yeah.
That's where we discover new facets of ourselves and unlock our full potential.
It's like we're embarking on an exciting adventure, not knowing exactly where it will lead, but trusting that the journey itself will be transformative.
And as we navigate this journey of self-discovery,
Yeah.
our self-perception will naturally evolve.
Okay.
It will become more aligned with our authentic selves, with our values, and with the life we want to create.
So in a way, reimagining ourselves is not about forcing a specific outcome.
Right.
It's about embracing the process of growth and transformation, trusting that our self-perception will evolve organically as we learn and discover more about who we truly are.
You've captured it perfectly.
Yeah.
It's about surrendering to the journey, knowing that there's no destination, only continuous evolution.
This has been such an enlightening deep dive.
It has.
We've explored so many layers of self-perception and its impact on happiness,
Yeah.
from the practical strategies to the profound shifts in mindset.
It's been a pleasure to unpack these concepts with you.
Likewise.
And I hope our listeners feel inspired to embark on their own journeys of self-discovery and reimagining.
Me too. And as we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought-provoking question.
Okay.
One that Dr. Nani doesn't explicitly address in her article, but that's worth pondering.
Okay.
If you could rewrite one self-limiting story you've been telling yourself, what would it be? And what new, empowering story would you put in its place?
That's a powerful question.
It is.
One that could spark profound transformation.
I encourage you to sit with that question.
Yeah.
To explore it with curiosity and compassion.
Absolutely.
And remember, you have the power to rewrite your story.
You have the power to create a self-perception that supports your happiness and your fulfillment.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Of course.
May you continue to explore, to grow, and to embrace the incredible power within you.
Until next time, keep diving deep.